Hummus has been around for over 7,000 years, but it still feels like a new snack. Pretty wild, right? The funny thing is, even though hummus is so popular, there's still a lot of debate about where it really comes from. Some say it's from the Levant, others think it's from Egypt. Everyone has their own take. Well, let's find out how hummus is made in a factory. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Process Powerhouse channel. Leave us a comment to let us know what mealtime favorites you'd like to see next. Who knows, maybe one day they'll find a jar of hummus so old it has its own fan club. Hummus, the smooth dip that's taken over the world, has a rich and mysterious history. People argue about where it comes from, with claims from both the Levant, Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, Palestine, and Egypt. Some say it's been around since the 13th century, while others believe it's even older. No matter who's claiming it, one thing is clear. Hummus has been around long enough to stir up some family rivalry. Now, it's so popular that it's not just a dip, it's a symbol of Middle Eastern cuisine. The world loves hummus, but ask any local, and they'll say they have the real recipe. Every great dish has its own story. Imagine it's the Middle Ages, and cooks are arguing over who made the best chickpea paste. The Levant and Egypt both claim they invented hummus, each saying, "We did it first." It wasn't about creating something fancy, just chickpeas, tahini, garlic, lemon, and olive oil. Back then, hummus was considered simple peasant food, but today it's a global snack. Picture a time when hummus was just a humble dish in homes, with no influencers making it a trend. Yet somehow, the simple chickpea became a star, turning from a peasant's dish into a luxury snack, one $12 tub at a time. The word hummus comes from the Arabic word for chickpeas, hummus, which makes sense because it literally tells you what the dish is, mainly chickpeas. Ancient food creators didn't bother with fancy names, they just called it what it was. Imagine if modern food names were that simple. Bacon bits, pasta with sauce, or even the sandwich. Pretty straightforward, right? There's something charming about it. Over time, hummus's ingredients have stayed mostly the same, which is both impressive and comforting. It's like that classic family recipe that's always been perfect. In a world where food trends change all the time, it's nice to know some things stay reliably delicious. Then there's the 2008 Hummus Showdown, when Lebanon and Israel both claim to have made the world's largest serving of hummus. Imagine a huge bowl the size of a pool, filled with creamy chickpea goodness, surrounded by thousands of people with pita and spoons. It wasn't just a fun event, it was a hummus battle. Both sides claimed to win, and hummus became a symbol of unity. As the world watched, it was clear. Hummus wasn't just food. It brought people together and maybe even helped settle some old debates. Enough history. Let's take a look inside the factory. The first step in making hummus is getting the best ingredients. The main ingredient is the chickpea, also known as a garbanzo bean. Chickpeas grow in places with good climates for legumes, like the Middle East, India, Turkey, Egypt, and California in the United States. The growing process can differ by region, but all chickpeas used for hummus are carefully checked for quality. In the factory, the type of chickpea chosen depends on the texture and flavor the final product needs. Some chickpeas are bigger and rounder, while others are smaller and more irregular, and these differences affect the hummus's texture. Chickpeas come in both dried and canned forms, but dried chickpeas are more often used in commercial hummus because they're cheaper. For dried chickpeas, the first step is a thorough cleaning to remove dirt, debris, and stones. This is important because any imperfections can affect the quality of the hummus. After cleaning, chickpeas are either soaked or cooked, depending on the brand's method. Soaking makes dried chickpeas softer and easier to blend into a smooth, creamy texture. Tahini is the next key ingredient and helps give hummus its smooth, rich flavor. Made from ground sesame seeds, tahini comes from places with a long history of growing sesame, like the Middle East, Mediterranean countries, Lebanon, Turkey, Greece, and parts of Asia. The sesame seeds are harvested, roasted, and ground into a thick paste, then processed to remove extra oils, creating a balanced product. The quality of tahini can vary a lot. Some brands use premium tahini, which is smoother, creamier, and more flavorful, while others use a simpler, cheaper version that can result in less complex flavor. Olive oil is an important ingredient in making hummus, helping to make it smooth and flavorful. It adds a light, fruity taste and improves the creamy texture. Extra virgin olive oil, the highest quality, is usually chosen for its mild flavor and smoothness. Olive oil mostly comes from Mediterranean countries like Spain, Italy, and Greece, which have a long history of olive oil production. These countries grow many types of olives, each with its own unique flavor. The olive harvest is an important part of making olive oil because it affects the quality for the whole year. Lemon juice, garlic, and salt complete the flavor of hummus. Lemons are grown in many parts of the world, especially in Mediterranean countries and places with subtropical climates. Fresh lemon juice is best because it adds a tangy, refreshing taste. Garlic is also important and is usually chopped fresh before being added. The amount of garlic can vary, but it's generally used in small amounts so it doesn't overpower the dish. Finally, salt brings out the flavors of the other ingredients and balances the richness of the tahini and olive oil. When the chickpeas arrive at the factory, they go through a careful sorting and preparation process before being used in the hummus. The quality of the chickpeas is important for getting the right texture and flavor. First, the chickpeas are checked to remove any dirt, stones, or broken ones. Machines, like vibrating screens, are used to make sure only good chickpeas are selected. Each chickpea is carefully inspected by hand or machine to ensure there are no flaws in the batch. After the chickpeas are sorted, they go through a soaking process. If they are dried chickpeas, they are placed in large water tanks for 8 to 12 hours, depending on their size and type. Soaking has two main purposes. It softens the chickpeas, making them easier to cook, and it removes some of the sugars that can cause digestive discomfort. This step is important for getting smooth, creamy hummus. If the chickpeas are too firm, the hummus will be rough, and if they are over-soaked, they can become mushy and hard to work with. Once the chickpeas are soaked, they are drained and moved to large pressure cookers. This method helps cook them faster and evenly, which is important for getting a consistent texture. The cooking time can vary, but it usually takes about 45 minutes to 1 hour for the chickpeas to become soft and tender. The goal is to cook them just right, soft enough to blend into a smooth paste, but firm enough to hold their shape during processing. In some factories, pre-cooked chickpeas are used to keep the process consistent. These chickpeas are purchased in bulk, cooked, and then frozen for later use. Using pre-cooked chickpeas helps save time and energy during production. However, it's important that the chickpeas are properly thawed and reheated before blending to make sure the final product has the right texture. After the chickpeas are prepared, cooled, and checked for quality, they're ready to be blended into the hummus base. After the chickpeas are prepared, the next important step is blending and mixing. The goal is to create the smooth, creamy texture that makes hummus so great. The chickpeas are blended into a paste using large industrial food processors. These machines break down the chickpeas into a smooth, velvety consistency, making sure there are no lumps. The processors have sharp blades and strong motors to ensure an even blend, and operators watch closely to make sure the paste is the right texture. Once the chickpea paste is ready, tahini is added. The right amount of tahini is important because it gives hummus its creamy texture and flavor. Too much tahini can make it bitter, while too little can make it bland and less smooth. Manufacturers use precise measurements and the experience of their workers to get the perfect balance. The tahini is mixed well with the chickpeas to make sure the paste is smooth and consistent. Next, lemon juice, garlic, and salt are added to the mix to boost the flavor. Fresh lemon juice gives a tangy kick that balances the rich taste of tahini and olive oil, while garlic adds a savory depth. The garlic is carefully measured to keep it from overpowering the other flavors. Salt is added to bring everything together and enhance the taste. The exact amounts of each ingredient depend on the brand's recipe and the batch size. Finally, olive oil is added to make the hummus smooth and creamy. It helps give the hummus a rich texture, making it easier to spread and more enjoyable. The olive oil is slowly mixed in, so it blends well with the tahini and chickpeas to create a silky texture. Some manufacturers may even add a little extra olive oil on top to give the hummus a shiny finish before packaging. Once everything is mixed, the hummus is tasted to make sure it meets the right flavor and texture. Before the hummus is packaged and shipped, it goes through a strict quality check. This makes sure each batch meets the brand's standards for taste, texture, and safety. One of the first steps is taste testing, where experts try a sample from each batch. They check that the hummus has the right mix of creamy, nutty, tangy, and savory flavors. If it doesn't meet the standards, changes are made to the recipe, like adding more lemon juice, garlic, or olive oil. Along with taste testing, the hummus is also checked for texture to make sure it's the right thickness. Hummus should be smooth, creamy, and easy to spread without being too runny or too stiff. This is checked by looking at it, testing by hand, and sometimes using tools that measure how thick it is. The hummus should flow smoothly off a spoon. If any batch doesn't meet these standards, adjustments are made before moving forward. Food safety is a top priority during quality control. Since hummus spoils easily, it is tested for harmful bacteria like Salmonella, Listeria, and E. coli. Each batch is sent to a lab for testing to check for contamination. If any harmful bacteria are found, the batch is thrown out, and the factory looks into where the problem came from to prevent it from happening again. It's important to make sure hummus is safe since it's eaten by many people. Once the hummus passes the tests, it moves to packaging. This is the final step before it reaches consumers, and it helps keep the hummus fresh. The packaging materials are chosen to protect the product and keep it safe to eat. Containers, whether plastic tubs, glass jars, or other types, are cleaned before being filled with hummus to avoid contamination. After filling, the containers are sealed to keep the hummus fresh and prevent it from spoiling. Once the hummus passes quality control, it's ready for packaging, which helps keep it fresh and appealing. In large factories, packaging is usually done automatically. The containers, made of plastic, glass, or sometimes eco-friendly materials, are first cleaned to prevent contamination. This is done by using high-temperature steam or UV light to make sure the containers are free from bacteria before they are filled with hummus. Next, the hummus is carefully spooned into containers. In big factories, automated machines do this, making sure each container gets the right amount of hummus. The machines are designed to fill the containers without spilling or overfilling, and they can fill thousands of containers every hour. Even with machines, workers are there to watch over the process and make sure everything goes smoothly. After the hummus is put into containers, the lids are added and sealed to keep it fresh. Many companies use vacuum sealing or airtight lids to keep the hummus safe from spoilage and maintain its quality longer. Some may even add a thin layer of olive oil on top to make it look nicer and protect it from air, which could dry it out. This shiny finish helps the hummus look more appealing on store shelves. The packaging process also includes adding labels with important details like ingredients, nutrition facts, allergen warnings, and expiration dates. The labels are carefully placed to make sure the information is clear, accurate, and meets local rules. The labels are often designed to catch the eye, using bright colors and pictures of fresh ingredients like chickpeas, olive oil, and lemon to attract customers. The packaging design also helps each hummus brand stand out, reflecting its values, whether it's organic, gluten-free, or made with premium ingredients. Once the hummus is packaged, it's ready to be sent to distribution centers. Because it's perishable, it needs to be stored and transported in special conditions to stay fresh. The packaged hummus is stored in refrigerated units in warehouses, kept at a steady temperature of 34 to 40 degrees Fahrenheit, 1 to 4 degrees Celsius, to maintain its texture and flavor while preventing spoilage. Warehouses are big, temperature-controlled spaces that store products from different food makers. They have tracking systems to monitor the temperature and humidity. When lots of hummus is stored, it's arranged in pallets to make it easier to handle and ship. Warehouses also use inventory systems to keep track of how many hummus containers are available, ensuring they send out the right amount to meet demand. Once the hummus is stored, it's ready to be shipped to distribution centers. Special refrigerated trucks are used to transport the hummus, keeping it at the right temperature so it doesn't spoil during the journey. Distribution centers are key in the next step, where they receive the hummus from the manufacturer and send it to grocery stores or other retail locations. Distributing hummus is a detailed process. Distribution centers receive shipments from different factories, sort the products, and prepare them for delivery to stores. They work closely with retailers to keep the shelves stocked with fresh hummus. During busy times, like holidays or summer, when people eat more hummus, distribution becomes even more important, and extra shipments may be needed. Timely delivery is key to making sure customers get fresh, high-quality hummus. Hummus is popular all over the world because it's so versatile. You can use it as a dip, spread, or add it to dishes like wraps, bowls, or salads. It's a favorite snack for many people. Whether with pita bread, fresh veggies, or on sandwiches, its flexibility makes it a go-to option, and you can easily change up the flavor to suit any taste. Hummus has become even more popular because of the rise in healthy eating. It's full of protein, fiber, and important nutrients, making it a great choice for people looking for plant-based, gluten-free, or dairy-free foods. It also fits well with the growing interest in Mediterranean diets, which focus on fresh veggies, legumes, and healthy fats. Another reason hummus is so popular is because it fits well with Mediterranean and Middle Eastern diets, which focus on fresh, healthy ingredients. As more people are interested in these diets, the demand for hummus grows. Hummus offers a wide range of flavors, from the classic taste to new ones like roasted red pepper, sriracha, or avocado, keeping it exciting on store shelves. This variety lets people try new things while still enjoying the original flavor they love. Finally, hummus's long history and simple, tasty ingredients have helped it stay popular. With roots going back centuries, it's loved by many cultures for its authentic flavor and the way it brings people together. Its versatility, health benefits, and cultural importance make it a classic food that will continue to be a favorite for years. Stick around, there's even more exciting moments and processes coming up next. Isn't it funny how something so small can bring so much joy? Maltesers have been making us smile for years, crispy, chocolatey, and always just right. But what's their secret? Is it the crunch, the smooth chocolate, or the memories they bring, movie nights, sneaky handfuls, and sharing with friends? Well, let's find out how Maltesers are made in a factory. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Process Powerhouse channel. Leave us a comment to let us know what mealtime favorites you'd like to see next. And hey, maybe one day they'll uncover a bag of Maltesers from the past, still as perfect as the first bite. Maltesers, those tasty little chocolate-covered balls, have a history almost as sweet as their taste. They were first introduced in 1937 by Mars, right when the world was facing a chocolate shortage because of World War II. Instead of sticking to their usual treats, the folks at Mars decided to create something light, crunchy, and a bit different. Thus, Maltesers were born. They weren't just another chocolate, they were something special, made to stand out in a time when choices were few. If chocolate had a VIP club, Maltesers would be the guest of honor. They were marketed as a lighter chocolate treat, which was a smart move. Who doesn't feel a little better about snacking when you can tell yourself it's lighter? As if a few hundred Maltesers don't count toward your snack quota. The best part was that it wasn't just clever marketing. The airy malted center actually made them feel less heavy than regular chocolate bars. It was like the perfect treat, guilt-free, or at least a little less guilty. The name came from malt, which gives that crispy crunch, and teasers. Because, let's be real, trying to eat just one Malteser is nearly impossible. If you've ever had that one friend who finishes the bag before the movie ends, you get why teasers fit so well. Over the years, Maltesers became a popular classic with an interesting twist. In the 1970s, they were actually marketed as a diet chocolate. It was the time of eat less, weigh less. And for a short while, Maltesers were the go-to treat for people watching their weight. Of course, that was probably before we realized eating a whole bag might not exactly make us lighter. But who's counting? We all know the truth. Just because something's lighter in texture doesn't mean you can't eat a ton of it. It was a clever marketing trick that worked, letting us enjoy our favorite snack while feeling like we were being sensible. Maltesers made us think we could treat ourselves without the guilt. Today, Maltesers are more popular than ever. They've become so well known that they're a part of pop culture. If you're watching a movie, there's a good chance a bag of Maltesers is nearby. They've gone from a wartime snack to a regular in snack aisles everywhere. And let's be honest, who hasn't secretly hoped to find the perfect Malteser at the bottom of the bag? The one that's just the right size and perfectly round, waiting to be the last bite of happiness? Maltesers have stood the test of time, becoming more than just a snack. They're now part of everyday life. Just like popcorn at the movies, we've come to expect Maltesers to be there, ready to satisfy our sweet cravings. Next time you pop a Malteser into your mouth, remember, you're not just enjoying a piece of chocolate, you're indulging in a snack with a rich, and surprisingly light, history. And as they say, some things only get better with time. Even if they're still as tasty as ever, it's like the treat that never gets old. Always the perfect mix of crunchy and creamy, no matter the decade. Whether you're enjoying an old favorite or sharing it with a new generation, one thing's for sure, Maltesers are here to stay. Enough history. Let's take a look inside the factory. Every Malteser starts with sourcing the best ingredients, like malted barley, sugar, cocoa, and milk powder. The malted barley is especially important because it gives Maltesers their crispy, airy texture. Mars works with trusted farmers to make sure they get the best barley, partnering with suppliers around the world to meet high-quality standards. This attention to detail makes sure that every Malteser has that satisfying crunch. Without the right barley, the crispy melt-in-your-mouth texture that makes Maltesers special wouldn't be the same. It's not just about the barley. Cocoa, which gives the rich chocolate coating, comes from places like West Africa and South America. Mars makes sure their cocoa is responsibly sourced from farms that follow ethical practices. They only work with suppliers who meet fair trade standards or similar certifications. This ensures cocoa farmers get a fair wage and supports eco-friendly farming, like reducing deforestation and using fewer pesticides. Mars also invests in projects that help farmers improve their productivity and lives, making the cocoa supply chain more sustainable. Milk powder is another key ingredient, adding the creamy richness that pairs perfectly with the crunchy malt. Mars makes sure to get high-quality milk from trusted dairies to keep the taste and texture consistent. The milk used in Maltesers has to meet strict standards to make sure the final product tastes just right. Mars also considers how the ingredients are packaged, transported, and handled to reduce their environmental impact. For example, they work on lowering the carbon footprint of their supply chain, aiming to make Maltesers with the least impact on the environment while maintaining top quality. Sustainability goes beyond just sourcing ingredients. Mars is working on improving packaging to reduce waste and make it more recyclable. Their goal is to make all packaging recyclable or reusable by 2025. It's not just about making a great chocolate treat. It's about making sure future generations can enjoy Maltesers in a sustainable world. This approach helps Maltesers stay a delicious snack while protecting the planet's future. The heart of Maltesers is their malted center. The process starts by turning malted barley into malted milk powder, which gives them their crispy texture. First, the barley is roasted to bring out its rich flavor. This step is key because it adds the unique taste that makes Maltesers special. It's like slow cooking a stew. The longer you roast the barley, the richer the flavor gets. After roasting, the barley is ground into a fine powder, which is then mixed with milk powder, sugar, and other ingredients. This creates a dough-like mixture, and this is where the magic of Maltesers begins. The dough is carefully mixed to make sure all the ingredients are spread evenly. This step is important because even a small change in the mixture can affect the final texture. The dough needs to be just right, too thick and it becomes heavy, too thin and it loses its crispness. Once it's perfectly mixed, it's fed into a machine that shapes it into small, round pieces. This process ensures every Malteser is the perfect size for a bite-sized snack. It's a careful step where attention to detail is key to getting the right texture and shape. Next comes the puffing process. The malt mixture is heated and pressed, making it expand into light, airy balls. This step is key because it gives Maltesers their crispy texture. The result is a center that's not only crispy, but so light it melts in your mouth. The puffing process is tricky. Getting the right amount of heat and pressure ensures the malt isn't too dense or too airy. The result is a perfect mix of crunch and melt-in-your-mouth goodness. To get the perfect puff, the temperature and timing must be carefully controlled. Even a small change could make the batch too crunchy or too soft, so Mars uses advanced technology to keep it just right. The malted balls are then cooled before moving on to the next step, where they'll be coated in chocolate. Cooling is important because it stops them from melting or sticking together, making sure each piece stays separate and easy to handle. After the malt mixture is puffed and cooled, it's shaped into small, round balls. These little pieces are made to be the perfect size for a quick snack. The shaping process is done carefully to make sure each ball has the right size for that signature Malteser crunch. The balls need to be small enough to eat in one bite, but big enough to give a satisfying crunch. The uniform shape makes sure every piece has the same crispy texture every time. Once shaped, the malt balls are placed into a machine that pops them. This machine makes the balls bigger by expanding the malted dough, creating a lighter, crispier texture. This step gives Maltesers their unique, airy center. The process is carefully watched to make sure the balls don't get too big or lose their crunch. It's important to get the right balance to keep that perfect texture, which is why puffing is such a key part of making Maltesers. The expansion gives them their lightness, making Maltesers a one-of-a-kind snack. During this stage, the malt texture is tested regularly to make sure it's light and crispy. The goal is to make a treat that feels almost weightless, but still has that satisfying crunch. The expansion process isn't just about making them light. It's about getting the perfect texture that pairs well with the milk chocolate coating. After popping, the malt balls are cooled again to keep their shape before the chocolate coating. Cooling is important to stop the balls from getting too soft or melting before they're coated, so they stay crispy. Finally, the freshly popped malt balls are ready to be coated. Before they're dipped in chocolate, the quality control team checks them to make sure they're all the same. If any balls are the wrong shape, size, or texture, they're removed to keep everything perfect. This check makes sure only the best balls make it through, so every Malteser in the bag is a great mix of crispy malt and smooth chocolate. Now comes the fun part, the chocolate coating. The puffed malt balls move along a conveyor belt, passing through machines that coat them with a smooth layer of milk chocolate. This step is tricky because the goal is to give each ball a thin, even layer of chocolate, just enough to create a creamy outer shell that goes well with the crispy malt center. The process involves careful measurements to make sure the chocolate is perfectly tempered for that glossy, smooth finish. Mars uses a special method to temper the chocolate before putting it on the malt balls. This makes sure the chocolate has the right texture and shine. Tempering means carefully heating and cooling the chocolate to control the cocoa butter crystals. This gives the chocolate a shiny finish and a satisfying snap when you bite into it. The chocolate is then poured over the malt balls evenly, making sure each one is coated just right. This way, every bite tastes as good as the last. The coating machine makes sure each malt ball is fully covered in chocolate, with no empty spots. The chocolate layer has to be just right. If it's too thick, the Maltesers lose their crunch. If it's too thin, the chocolate doesn't shine through. It's all about getting the right balance between the chocolate and malt to create the perfect taste and texture. Every piece that comes out is just right. After being coated, the Maltesers are gently shaken to get rid of any extra chocolate. Then they go through cooling. This helps the chocolate harden and gives it the right texture. Once cooled, they're checked to make sure every piece has the perfect mix of crispy malt and smooth chocolate. This attention to detail makes sure each Malteser is just as good from the first bite to the last. After the chocolate is applied, the Maltesers are cooled in a controlled room to help the chocolate harden properly. If it cools too fast, it might crack or look dull. And if it cools too slowly, it may lose its shiny finish. The cooling process is carefully timed to make sure each Malteser gets that perfect look and feel, like letting a painting dry at the right pace. While cooling, the Maltesers are carefully checked for any problems, like uneven sizes, chocolate coating, or defects in the malt center. If anything doesn't meet the standards, it's taken out and fixed. This check happens throughout the process to make sure only the best Maltesers make it to packaging. Quality control ensures that every bag you open has perfectly made treats with the same great taste and texture every time. The quality checks don't just look at size or shape. Maltesers are also checked to make sure the chocolate coating is shiny and smooth on every piece. This is important because people expect the same glossy finish every time. The chocolate is also checked for its snap, which shows it's the right texture. The final check makes sure everything about the Maltesers, taste, texture, and look, meets the high standards so you get the same great snack each time. Once the Maltesers pass the quality check, they're ready to be packaged and sent to stores. Before that, they're carefully stored to avoid any damage. The factory makes sure they're kept at the right temperature to stop them from melting or going bad. This way, when you open a bag of Maltesers, they're just as fresh and tasty as when they were first made. Once the Maltesers pass the quality check, they move to packaging. The first step is weighing them to make sure each bag has the right amount. It's not just about the quantity though. The bags also need to protect the Maltesers during transport. That's why the bags have extra space inside, so the Maltesers can move around without getting crushed. The bags are sealed tightly to keep the Maltesers fresh. Each bag is checked for any issues, like leaks or tears, that could affect the product. After sealing, they get labels with important details like expiration dates and batch numbers. The bags are also designed to catch the eye with bright, recognizable branding. Once packed, they're ready to be shipped to stores worldwide. Packaging not only protects the product, but also helps with the brand's sustainability efforts. Mars is working to reduce its environmental impact by using recyclable materials. The company plans to make all its packaging recyclable by 2025, which will help cut down on plastic waste. This commitment is part of Mars's larger goal to reduce its environmental footprint and support recycling. The bags are designed to be easy to recycle and reuse, keeping the future in mind. After being packaged, the Maltesers are ready to be sent out to stores. Before they get to the shelves though, they need to be delivered to customers quickly and efficiently. Once the bags of Maltesers are sealed and labeled, they're placed in large boxes for shipping. These boxes are sent to distribution centers, where they're sorted and prepared for delivery to stores. The goal is to get the Maltesers to stores quickly so they stay fresh. The shipping process uses trucks, trains, and ships to move the boxes from the factories to the warehouses. When the Maltesers reach regional warehouses, they're ready to be sent to local stores. Whether it's a small shop or a big supermarket, they need to be placed and displayed right so customers can find them. This involves working with retailers to make sure the products are in the right spots and displayed in a way that attracts shoppers. The distribution process is carefully planned to meet customer needs. Mars works with retailers and delivery partners to make sure the products are available when and where needed. Whether in stores or online, the goal is to make Maltesers easy to find. With Mars reaching over 100 countries, new markets are always opening up. Maltesers are popular for a few simple reasons. The mix of a crispy malt center and smooth milk chocolate creates a taste and texture that's hard to beat. It's light but still satisfying, making it the perfect snack for many situations. Whether you're enjoying a movie night or sharing with friends, Maltesers are a go-to treat for lots of people. Maltesers have stayed popular because they've always been consistent and high quality. From using the best ingredients to perfecting the coating and texture, Mars has maintained the same high standards for years. People know exactly what to expect with each bite, and that trust has kept Maltesers a favorite snack. The brand also keeps things fresh while staying true to what made it so loved, making it popular with new generations. Maltesers' focus on sustainability also helps keep them popular. With more attention on ethical sourcing, recyclable packaging, and taking care of the environment, Maltesers continue to grow in a way that appeals to today's mindful shoppers. This mix of tradition, quality, and smart practices has helped the product stay as loved as ever. In conclusion, Maltesers stay popular because of their great taste, texture, and consistency, along with the brand's focus on sustainability and quality. This combination has made them a favorite treat for chocolate lovers everywhere. Whether it's the crunchy center, smooth chocolate, or the fun of sharing, Maltesers keep bringing joy to snackers around the world. Stick around, there's even more exciting moments and processes coming up next. Remember when Butterfingers were the best candy to sneak into class or hide in your backpack? For years, they were the go-to treat for anyone who loved that crunchy, peanut buttery taste. But then something changed. The recipe changed, and people started wondering, was the Butterfinger we loved still the same? Well, let's find out how Butterfingers are made in a factory. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Process Powerhouse channel. Leave us a comment to let us know what mealtime favorites you'd like to see next. And if Butterfingers are as tough as they say, maybe they'll survive a zombie apocalypse. In 1923, something new and tasty changed the candy world. Butterfinger. Made by the Curtis Candy Company, this candy bar quickly became a favorite. Its mix of crunchy peanut butter covered in smooth chocolate made it stand out from other snacks. The name Butterfinger wasn't random. It was chosen because it sounded as slippery as the treat itself. After all, how many times have you tried to eat a Butterfinger without getting peanut butter on your fingers? It was a candy bar that left you scrambling for napkins, and maybe even wiping off your shirt. The mess just added to the fun, because who doesn't enjoy a little chaos with their candy? It wasn't just the name that made Butterfinger special, it was the way it grabbed people's attention. The candy bar's unique texture changed the candy game. Before Butterfinger, peanut butter in candy bars wasn't a big deal. It was usually hidden or squished between chocolate layers. But Butterfinger did things differently. The crispy, crunchy peanut butter center, almost like peanut brittle, gave it a texture you could hear with every bite, a satisfying crunch that made it an instant favorite. In the 1980s, Butterfinger became a pop culture icon. It wasn't just the taste that kept people coming back. It was the ads, especially the unforgettable partnership with Bart Simpson. With his rebellious attitude, Bart and Butterfinger were the perfect match. "Nobody better lay a finger on my Butterfinger," he famously said, making the candy bar all about mischief, chaos, and attitude. Bart wasn't just promoting a candy bar. He was making it clear that messing with a Butterfinger meant messing with him. It was a time of cartoon chaos, and Butterfinger was right in the middle of it. Even as time went on, Butterfinger didn't stay the same. It wasn't happy with just one flavor. Over the years, it tried new flavors and textures, adding limited edition varieties, and even launching Butterfinger peanut butter cups. The candy's journey was full of sweet peanut butter goodness, sometimes smooth, sometimes crunchy, but always addictive. The brand even updated its recipe to attract a new generation, changing the texture and packaging. Some people might say it wasn't the same as the original, but Butterfinger was never afraid to make a bold move. And let's not forget the famous wrappers. The bright yellow and red packaging became part of the brand, letting everyone know they were about to enjoy something special. Even the catchy jingles from the commercials stuck with us. How many of us still remember the "nobody better lay a finger" line? No matter how many changes Butterfinger has had, one thing stays the same: It always brings joy, memories, and a bit of mess. Whether you're enjoying the classic Butterfinger bar, a Butterfinger cup, or a new flavor, that crunchy peanut butter is a reminder of childhood, a time when candy was all about fun and not worrying about sticky fingers. Now, let's dive into how Butterfinger is made in the factory. Making a Butterfinger starts with choosing the best ingredients from different places. These ingredients create the candy bar's unique taste and texture. The main ingredients are peanuts, sugar, corn syrup, chocolate, and palm oil. Each one is carefully picked to make sure the final product is top quality. Peanuts are the main ingredient in Butterfinger, giving it its crunchy texture and nutty flavor. Most of the peanuts come from the southern US, where the warm climate and good soil help them grow well. Farmers carefully watch over the crops to keep them healthy and free from pests and disease, using modern farming methods. After harvesting, the peanuts are sorted to pick out the best ones. They are then roasted to bring out their flavor, giving Butterfinger its distinct taste. The roasting process needs just the right amount of heat. Too little, and they stay bland; too much, and they burn. The perfect roast makes the peanuts taste rich and caramelized. The next key ingredients are sugar and corn syrup, which help give Butterfinger its sweetness and texture. Sugar comes from either sugar beets or sugarcane and is turned into a pure, granular form. Corn syrup is made from corn and keeps the filling smooth by preventing the sugars from crystallizing. This helps the peanut butter filling have the right consistency when poured into molds. Without corn syrup, the candy would be too hard to bite into. The syrup gives the candy a chewy, melt-in-your-mouth texture while keeping the peanut butter crisp. The chocolate coating is an important part of Butterfinger, as it wraps around the peanut butter core and adds a smooth contrast to the crunch. The chocolate comes from high-quality cocoa beans, mainly from regions near the equator like Ghana, the Ivory Coast, and Indonesia. These beans are processed into cocoa liquor, cocoa butter, and cocoa powder. The beans are harvested, fermented, and dried over a few weeks. Once they arrive at the factory, they're refined and mixed with sugar, milk solids, and other ingredients to create the creamy chocolate that covers the peanut butter. Cocoa butter is key for giving the chocolate its smooth texture and rich consistency, while the added sugar and milk solids make it sweet and balanced with the salty peanut butter. Lastly, palm oil is added to the chocolate mix. To improve its texture and stability, it helps the chocolate stay smooth at room temperature, stopping it from becoming too soft or brittle. Palm oil also makes sure the chocolate covers the peanut butter evenly, giving Butterfinger bars their shiny look. It's often used in candy because it has a high melting point, which helps keep the chocolate firm during shipping or handling. It also helps the chocolate stay stable while stored, so Butterfinger bars keep their great texture on store shelves. Once the ingredients arrive at the Butterfinger factory, the process of making the peanut butter core starts. This core is key to the candy bar's unique crunch, so every step is important. First, the peanuts, a main ingredient, are roasted. The roasting process is carefully controlled to bring out the nutty flavor and make them extra crispy. The peanuts are roasted in large ovens set to a specific temperature and watched closely to avoid burning. After roasting, the peanuts are cooled to room temperature before being processed. Once cooled, the peanuts are ground into a fine paste. But this paste isn't like regular peanut butter. It's made to have a brittle, almost crystal-like texture that's different from the smooth peanut butter in other candy bars. To make this, the peanuts are mixed with sugar, corn syrup, and other ingredients to create a sticky, syrupy paste that keeps its shape. This sticky mix is important for getting the right crunch in the candy. The sugar adds sweetness, and the corn syrup helps keep the texture smooth but firm enough for that signature crunch. The paste is then poured into large molds and left to cool and harden. This step is key to getting the right texture for the Butterfinger. As it cools, it becomes the crisp, brittle center that makes the candy bar special. The temperature and cooling time need to be just right. If it cools too fast, it can get too hard and brittle, affecting the texture. If it cools too slowly, it might stay soft and sticky, losing the crunch. The cooling process is carefully watched to make sure the perfect crunchiness and brittleness are achieved. The texture of the core is what makes Butterfinger different from other peanut butter candies. The team uses special cooling systems to control temperature changes, making sure every batch has the same crunchy texture. These systems are important for keeping the cooling process even, so the texture stays perfect. The cooling area also has humidity controls because moisture can affect the peanut butter filling. By controlling both temperature and humidity, the factory creates the ideal environment for cooling. The molds are designed to rotate slowly, ensuring that the cooling happens evenly, and no part of the mixture cools too fast or too slow. This slow rotation helps the peanut butter mixture cool consistently, keeping the same crunchy texture in every batch. This careful approach to cooling is important for getting the texture that Butterfinger fans love. By focusing on every detail, from mixing the ingredients right to controlling the temperature and humidity, the factory makes sure each Butterfinger has the perfect core with that signature crunch. Once the peanut butter core has set, it's time to cover it with the delicious chocolate that makes Butterfinger so special. The chocolate is melted in large vats and mixed to make it smooth and shiny. The temperature at which the chocolate is melted is important. If it gets too hot, it can lose its silky texture. To avoid this, the chocolate is carefully melted to the right temperature. Once it's ready, it goes through a tempering process where it's heated, cooled, and then heated again. This helps stabilize the cocoa butter, giving the chocolate its smooth, shiny finish when it hardens. Tempering is important because it gives the chocolate its shine and the right texture. Without it, the chocolate could turn dull, grainy, or uneven, making the finish less than perfect. Properly tempered chocolate snaps when you bite into it, improving the Butterfinger experience. Once the chocolate is ready, the peanut butter cores are dipped or covered in the melted chocolate. The bars move through a machine that coats each one evenly, making sure every bar has a smooth, consistent layer of chocolate. The enrobing machine is key to making sure each Butterfinger bar is coated evenly with chocolate. It ensures the chocolate layer is consistent on every bar, helping the candy look good and taste great. The machine moves quickly, applying the right amount of chocolate so the peanut butter core remains the focus, while the smooth chocolate adds a nice contrast to the crunchy filling. After the chocolate is applied, the candy bars move through a cooling tunnel, where the temperature is carefully controlled to help the chocolate set just right. This ensures the chocolate hardens at the perfect rate, firm but smooth, so that it melts nicely in your mouth. The cooling tunnel also keeps the chocolate shiny, giving each Butterfinger its attractive finish. This step ensures that every Butterfinger bar has the same high-quality chocolate coating, adding to its overall appeal. During production, Butterfinger bars go through strict quality checks to make sure each one is top quality. After the peanut butter core is coated with chocolate, the bars are inspected for consistency, texture, and appearance. These checks are important to ensure every Butterfinger has the same great taste, texture, and look. Machines check the weight and size of each Butterfinger bar to make sure they're all the same. Bars that are too big or too small are taken off the line. This helps ensure every Butterfinger is the right size for customers. Workers also check the bars for any flaws in the chocolate coating. If a bar has cracks or a poor coating, it's either fixed or thrown away. This step makes sure only perfect Butterfingers move forwards. The chocolate coating is tested to make sure it's smooth and even. Quality control checks the thickness to ensure each bar is coated the same. This step makes sure there are no air pockets or uneven chocolate layers, which could affect taste and texture. If any bars don't meet the standards, they are fixed before moving on. This ensures that only high-quality Butterfingers are packaged. Once the candy bars pass all quality checks, they move on to the wrapping and packaging stage, which helps keep the product fresh. The Butterfinger wrappers are designed with bright yellow and red colors, making them easy to recognize. Each wrapper has important information, like ingredients, nutritional facts, and barcodes for tracking. The wrappers are made of foil, which protects the chocolate from light and air, both of which can affect the chocolate over time. The foil helps keep the candy bars fresh, ensuring they stay just as tasty and crispy as consumers expect. The wrapping process is fully automated. Butterfingers are placed on a conveyor belt, where machines automatically wrap each bar in its foil wrapper. The machine makes sure the candy bars are sealed tightly, keeping out moisture or anything else that could affect the product. This step is important to make sure customers get a fresh candy bar every time. After the bars are wrapped, they are put into bigger boxes for shipment. The boxes are packed carefully to prevent any damage during transit, so the candy bars arrive at distribution centers in perfect condition. The packaging process also involves labeling each box with shipping details like the destination, weight, and quantity. The boxes are then stacked onto pallets and prepared for shipping. This ensures that the bars are correctly labeled and ready to be sent to retailers. The next step is distribution, where the boxed Butterfingers are taken to warehouses and stores all over the country. The distribution process works with delivery partners to make sure Butterfinger bars get to stores on time. When the bars arrive at distribution centers, they are sorted according to retailer orders and readied for shipment. Trucks or other vehicles deliver the candy to the stores. During this process, inventory systems track shipments, and warehouses are organized so that bars don't stay too long. This helps ensure that fresh Butterfingers are always available when customers visit the store. Once wrapped and packed, Butterfinger bars are ready to be sent from the factory to the stores. They are shipped in large quantities to distribution centers, where they are stored until orders are ready. The process is set up to deliver Butterfingers to retailers quickly. Depending on where they need to go and how fast they are needed, Butterfinger uses trucks, trains, or sometimes even air freight for delivery. At the distribution centers, Butterfinger bars are sorted and prepared to be sent to stores. The shipping team works with retailers to keep track of inventory and make sure fresh bars are always available. Retailers often order specific amounts to make sure Butterfingers are placed in high-traffic areas like checkout aisles, where they are most likely to catch people's attention. Stores make sure their candy aisles are always stocked with fresh Butterfinger bars, ready to satisfy cravings. Besides regular stores, Butterfinger bars are also sold through vending machines, online stores, and convenience shops. This variety of ways to buy ensures that people can find Butterfingers in many places. Online shopping makes it easy to order Butterfingers and have them delivered to your home or ready for pickup at nearby stores. By offering different ways to buy, Butterfinger makes sure it's always available for both quick purchases and planned snacks. Butterfinger's lasting popularity comes from a mix of its unique texture, clever marketing, and ongoing improvements. The candy's crunchy peanut butter center and smooth chocolate coating create a satisfying and different experience, setting it apart from other candy bars. The crispy, brittle peanut butter filling is one of a kind, making every bite exciting and unforgettable. This unique texture has helped make Butterfinger a favorite treat for many generations of candy fans. Butterfinger has stayed popular partly because of smart marketing. The famous partnership with Bart Simpson in the 1990s helped make the candy a part of pop culture, linking it with mischief and youth. The catchy line, "Nobody better lay a finger on my Butterfinger," still connects with both adults who remember it and younger generations. The product has kept up with the times by adding new versions, like Butterfinger Peanut Butter Cups, and trying different flavors while keeping the key elements fans love. Close attention to quality, from choosing ingredients to packaging and delivery, make sure each Butterfinger bar meets high standards and stays fresh, helping it keep its loyal fans. Butterfinger's success comes from its consistency, boldness, and ability to stay important in a crowded candy market. With its crunchy texture, memorable marketing, and constant new ideas, Butterfinger has stayed a favorite for candy lovers and remains a classic. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Your thumb gets a workout, and we get the love. And if you haven't subscribed to the Process Powerhouse channel yet, seriously, what are you waiting for? A VIP invitation. Come on, hit that button. Got a factory process you're curious about? Drop it in the comments. We might just make it happen. No promises on a conveyor belt cameo, though.